So here is my third try to do my vlog during this first planning period I have today. This first time my camera battery died, and the second time somebody walked in when I was about halfway through. And so hopefully I can make it done in the 6 minutes I have before my planning period ends and get this started to upload. Um, all my horizons asked what were the best and worst moments of your life, and probably the worst moment of my life was when I was teaching at the inner city public school, and I'd been up very late working on these reading centers that we had to do, so when I was teaching the reading groups, the rest of the kids could go and do productive things. And they made me do new ones every week because they like to pick on me that nobody else had to do new centers every week except for me. And she came in and said that these are all terrible and threw them in the trash bag and threw it out in the hallway in front of the students and took me out and chewed me out in the hallway. And then she saw I was about to cry and said, "You better not cry and you better get back in there and teach." And I did. I ended up breaking down in the corner and crying in front of the students. And that was the only time all that year that I actually did cry to the students. The rest of the year I managed to hold it in. And the best moment of my life was definitely when I married Jeremy. Words Become Knives asked, if you could hang out with someone, living or dead, assuming they came back to life for a day, for one day, who would you pick and why? And this may be kind of a boring answer, but I would pick, just got lighter, the founding fathers of America, just to ask them what they think of where our country is now, and what they think is better, and what they think is worse. And obviously some things are better, like no more slavery, and women having more rights, and what they would propose to help fix some of the things that are wrong in our country and get things back on track again. I'm shaking the computer. And that's just the first thing that I thought of for that answer. Crossing the Asymptote asked, if you could go back in time to relive any moment on your weight loss journey, when or where would that be? Now I have a lot on my face. It would be back to that same year in the public school. It was when I started fairly regularly stopping at fast food places on the way home and eating alone. And I think I did it to not delay getting home, but delay having to go home and work on school stuff even more. And I would just go back and stop myself from ever starting that habit, because that's what took me from being around 150 to actually being overweight, and just to stop that from ever happening. So it'd actually be before my weight loss journey ever started, was when what I would go back to. Hop Skip Jump asked, do you ever feel like you get runner's high, or do you believe in it? And I've never gotten a runner's high. I can definitely feel the effect of endorphins when I feel good after I run, and a lot of times if my feet are hurting, that they'll stop after 10 or 15 minutes. Now if something else is hurting, it'll probably start hurting more. But I definitely believe that people can get a runner's high, because so many people have described it. It's just not something that I've ever experienced. I'm not really sure what it takes. That was a very attractive face. Melissa Ann asks, what's the most romantic thing Jeremy has ever done for you, and vice versa? I think he's not really a big, elaborate, romantic kind of person. That's fine. He does small things. Probably when he surprised me by cooking dinner, which isn't something he does very often when I get out of the light. Oh. And when that just surprising me with the candlelight dinner, which he's done a couple times. And probably for him was when I surprised him last year for Valentine's Day by buying him little pots of flowers, so he could have flowers on Valentine's Day, but not in a really girly kind of way. I guess that it was because he likes to take care of plants a little bit. Raphael Marquez asked, I don't know if I'm saying that right, what's your favorite running route? I don't really have a favorite. I get bored really easily, and I have a few different neighborhoods that I run in. I have where I'll park in a park, and sometimes I'll run around the park for a while, and then I'll go out in the neighborhoods. And sometimes I'll just park in the park and then run in the neighborhood. And sometimes I'll only run in the park. And then I have a new place that I started running where it's like baseball fields, but not really an actual park, but it's by some really nice, swanky neighborhoods. And I think that that's probably my new favorite place, is to run in these swanky neighborhoods. And I haven't gotten to run through the whole thing because I keep on having issues that make me have to turn around. And the last question is from Nick. I want to be awesome. And he wanted me to answer it in the video. And he says, will you marry me? And I have to say, Nick, I'm sorry that you're over 8 years too late to ask that. And if your 15-year-old self had asked my 20-year-old self, I probably would have said no back then too, because that would have been kind of weird, getting asked to be married by a 15-year-old. So, sorry, but you're too late. And that's all the questions. Oh, before I got a chance to make the blog, but after I printed out the little paper with questions, Just 5 More asked if I remember some of the activities that teachers did when I was in school, and if I do some of those activities now. I do sometimes. I don't really have a lot of time for fun activities just because I have to teach 3 grades, and so pretty much all the time is I'm teaching this grade and I'll do your work, and I'll teach this grade and do your work, and I'll teach this grade and do your work. And so sadly we don't have time for a lot of activities, but I try to remember some things, like when it comes to holidays and getting to do crafts and stuff. Though even with that, sometimes I'm kind of get an idea at the last minute, and I might even have something planned. I'm like, ooh, this is a good idea too. I'm gonna do this instead. And that's all the questions. And y'all always say that you enjoy my blog, even though there's and so I hope that y'all like this one too, and that you have a wonderful Thursday and a great weekend. And next week is my spring break, so expect to get lots of Nikki spam next week. And I love y'all. Bye.